Control Haven, Control Dragon, Mid Shadow, and a reactive, control-y, or at least somewhat with the Bahamut copy, PDK list. I'm finding a hard time putting a coin on either of these players because I think it's going to be a while before we actually see who ekes out this one.
I don't know. I feel like I agree with Exo a little bit, and Rainey mentioned this too. Some Bestmarmotte's plays in the past couple weeks have been. It seemed like he had a lack of practice with his list. I like that he's bringing, PDK Dragon. He's bringing. I think his D shift got banned, so he's got Mid Shadow. So I like these lists, dude. It's like really, really difficult to. These lists are very, very powerful on their own. It's really, really difficult to not see like super optimal plays with these every turn. So we'll see how that goes, right?
Just focus down. Probably going to be able to get through it. Except I think the only problem that I foresee for him is that when you play against decks that are as control-y as Haven, the sheer amount of wards it's got, and Dragon with how much it reacts to everything, it can be tough to actually know when you have to go in with lists like these, because it's not like he's just playing aggro.
Right, so aggro takes a tremendous amount of brain power. Okay, my dude.
It's a very high IQ.
So while his decks are great, right? Yeah, I'll agree. His matchups are terrible. His matchups are horrible. Control is just not something you want to see with mid. I guess mid-range Shadow, not so much. He didn't want to get his D-shift banned. I don't know. I mean, PDK is kind of okay. You got Bahamut, you got Fortes, you got your Dragon, right? You can do whatever you want. Your Dragon.
There's no rules for you. You're Dragon.
You're on 10 play points and they're on 5. You're Dragon. It's okay. It's fine.
That's it. That's like the punchline of playing Rowan.
Looks like we're gonna see Haven versus Dragon. Oh boy.
Yeah, we kept Kionys. That
is interesting.
Is that the trademark strategy of playing Haven versus PDK to kick Kionys? I actually have no idea. I was not even aware that Haven existed as a class. That's mean.
Well, I mean, interestingly enough, thanks to the change to Prime Dragon Keeper, it can now be banished by Cudgel. So.
Very true.
Yeah, Kionys has multiple answers to those Prime Dragon Keepers. He is not letting that happen. The great target for banishment right there, Ayala as well, so.
Right. The only thing that I ever noticed as a main trouble for any deck that has like solid answers to PDK now is I remember this was like true back in the day too, is you have an answer to Prime Dragon Keeper, so she's done, you don't have to deal with her anymore, then you just eat like Forte Erd. Like.
Oh yeah, and then you just take 21 damage from Fortes. Yeah,
joke's on you, buddy.
Kionys has a few safety measures for that, though. He is playing Cleric Lancers. He also has Lucifer. And then if he ever makes it to Aegis, Bahamut can't answer that. Like, that used to be, when Aegis was first a thing, that was like our answer to Dragon, was like, just play Aegis, man. They can't do anything to it. What do they do? They just cry about it. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They just complained that the thing that
they did that exactly, yes. My Bahamut won't clear this.
Yeah, hey, can Enchanted Vines or Entangling Vines be permanent, please?
Well, Mr. Full Moon is an option now, but that's not, unfortunately, in a Marmotte's deck for him. He's not going to have that as an option, so.
Well, Kionys does have one copy of Heavenly Aegis to start working that grind towards. That's actually the only copy in the deck, so we're not going to see it come out of an Ether or something fantastically flashy like that.
Which is actually worth noting. That means Ether can only pull. It doesn't pull itself, so it can only pull Cleric Lancers now.
Ooh, that's the biggest thing it seems like it pulls. Oh, it doesn't pull neutral things, does it? Right.
No, it doesn't pull neutrals. No, only pulls Havencraft followers. If it pulled neutrals, if it pulled Lucifer, oh my gosh.
Yo. What an interesting card, though.
I think Ether's already good enough, Mofu. Let's not give Side Games ideas to buff this card, alright?
Hey, can it also actually pull like 3 things at one time? It's just an idea.
Oh yeah, that sounds totally. Yeah, don't even change don't even change the play cost. Don't change the stats on it. Let it pull 3. Let it fill your board. Actually, even just fills your whole board with 3 Aegises and a Taurus. That's a great idea. Yeah.
I like it. I think that's what Haven really needs to get in there again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good. Yeah, totally. Definitely.
Right, interesting pass from Bestmarmotte there. A lot of players, I think, are usually tempted to try to go for the Dragon Oracle and ramp themselves up into Overflow, but I think he notices probably running out of cards in hand here. His staircase is far from actually popping, so he's just trying to save it up so that he can get that draw.
I do also agree with getting card draw. This is a grindier matchup, and you need to have actual ways to finish the game if he just comes down on curve on that 9 play point turn. And then also, I mean, let's be real here. If Kionys had just killed the Ayala, which he probably wouldn't have, if he hadn't banished it but had killed it instead, then Marmot would be in overflow this turn and could cash that in. That Oracle could go in and trade and draw a card, but it was banished. It's a pretty good banish. I actually like that banish a lot. So
yeah, I'd say that was a solid banish. Actually, it's just for all the reasons you described. It's like this is really the one class in Haven that like actually has enough simple access to the banish as a mechanic that Ayala she's so good against every other class.
Oh yeah.
But Haven just kind of shrugs her off, really.
She does nothing against Haven. So Marmot, I think, is going to be on the plan of popping this staircase ASAP. Tosses in a Dragoon Scyther on a 4/5 cudgel.
Yeah, he's like, I think he's feeling here that just a couple more turns and it's going to get out of hand for him. That just Kionys already has this massive card advantage so far. Hasn't really had a chance to ramp that much. Doesn't have any solid threats he can put down. He just wants more cards out of this staircase.
Exactly. Not to mention the Beast Call Aria was popping, so if he didn't answer that board in any way meaningful, if that cudgel was still on the board now, it could go face. That bird could evolve face. Next thing you know, you're at 8 life. What do?
Their opponent drops an Aegis. What do you have? A PDK?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's
very hard to get aggressive when your opponent has you at half your life total, so.
Though, I'm seeing Kionys both kept them as drew another one. I'm like, so the game plan of PDK is usually to just try to get enough chip over time with PDKs that your opponent just finished off by Forte and the like. But if he can't mount a board that sticks or a PDK that gets in there, if he can't push through wards for the entirety of the game, then even if this staircase pops, what's Marmot really aiming for here if he wants to get over this?
Well, Marmot's aiming for Fortes, but these Cleric Lancers are going to stop that. Especially, this one won't live, because Dragoon Scythe is going to take care of that pretty promptly. But the next one's going to come down from the Ether, and it's going to stop Forte even more. So,
So would you say that Kionys is actually in like a really good position here? How much of an advantage is this? Because like as I mentioned before, I don't have much experience with PDK. I don't know what's really going through Marmot's mind or like what he's thinking of how he's gonna get through all this.
Well, and it's kind of easy, to guess. Dragoon Scyther's got to take out that ward. There's no other way to kill it outside of evolving your Forte or throwing in Forte. Ugh, never mind. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, it poses no threat immediately, so that's not super terrible. You are popping staircase next turn as well, and you're on 9 play points, so you've got plays. But the closer we get to 9, the closer we get to that Aegis, 9 for Kionys, not 9 for Marmot. He's already there.
Right.
9 for Kionys. That's again something that Dragon can't answer. So.
So, very curious to go for that. Breath of the Salamander, not really dealing with the body and ether. Here's an effect that is not very often focused on, not even one I mentioned. Everyone looks at her and just sees a card that pulls followers out of the deck, but she buffs up any leftover followers by 1 defense as well.
It is kind of a nonchalant kind of buff. It's like, yeah, by the way.
Yeah, Lyella, by the way.
It does seem kind of random, very appreciated, obviously. It's going to give, health to that other Cleric Lancer that had lost 1, but yeah, it's 13 effective health on the board, added to the 18 you've got. You're sitting at 31 life. There's just so much that Haven can do. 2 Themises can stall the board until Aegis is available. That last evolved board is going to stay there probably until Aegis happens. And it's not looking good for Marmot.
Yeah, it's tough. I think he has like a way to bust through, so he can send in one of the Dragoon Scythers, and he has an overflow, so Master of Draconic Arts can just like evolve, square up, and just one-shot the other one. But he only has 2 Evo points, and Kionys is still really healthy here.
That is true. Bane down 1, evolve, and like you said, square up.
Yeah, look at this. Full Evo stats. His eyes just like light up. Here it is.
It's that Clash when he's in overflow, gains 4 attack per attack. Like, if you attack it more than once, it'll keep gaining that 4 attack. So if you don't watch it, then You could be trading with a 13-13.
I think that's such a cute, like, little +1/+1 he gave it to. He's kind of like did the same thing as Kionys. It's like, I too have a ward that gains like a ton of attack.
It's kind of awkward. You don't really want to evolve this turn. You don't have to, though. You can just play Star Torrent into Tribunal here. Get the full trade. Don't even have to Tribunal, actually. Angel of the Word. Good card, too.
Right. I was actually a little curious about that. I'm used to seeing Angel of the Word used in super aggressive lists just because any card that can get like efficient and simple damage aimed anywhere, including face, is usually appreciated in aggro and the like. But every so often I see like a control or grindy list play it, for just reasons like that.
Definitely, definitely. And Marmot recognizes that he finally has a chance to get aggressive right before the Aegis comes down. Kionys is only on 8. He can't do it. Could do Themis, but another Forte coming down.
Yeah, that's... If we look at his list, I think the Cleric Lancers are his only method of defending himself. He doesn't play anything like Heavenly Hound in this list. That's it. So he has another one in his deck. His 25-card deck he's going to need to look for if he wants to be completely safe from Forte.
Sure, there's a lot of Storm. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Ah, it's so much Storm!
Uh-oh.
Oh, no!
So, 7 damage. There's a lot Marmot can look for here that would help set up the rest of it. But, does he have the time? Aegis, a clock, is coming upon us.
Double Civil instead of going in. I think... Double check before I misspoke. Marmot's Dragon. Do you know if he runs Erd? I don't know if he runs Erd in this Dragon. He does. He runs one.
He runs
Singleton, yes.
Alright. We can kind of, judging from this position, be like, if he draws Erd, then that's the only thing that can get him out of here. Because he has, like, a close estimate of damage, but... Well, actually, even with Erd, it would take 2 turns regardless to get that damage in as Kionys clears here.
Right, it's not quite doable. However, Marmot did put Kionys in a weird spot. Aegis is not actually playable or you die, so...
Right.
To Erd, assuming Erd exists. So Themis is actually to come down this turn to the first Themis of the game. And to probably just Angel of the Word, I imagine.
Seems like the safest thing to hedge against here.
That does toss your only answer to... Ooh, never mind. Okay. Wow.
Wow. I picked that up from you completely.
It's so perfect. It fits the situation perfectly. He's not playing around the exact 2 cards in Marmot's hand that would give Marmot lethal.
That's unfortunate. But
that actually is unfortunate. Yes, it's exactly with the cards in Marmot's hand right now. Well, I mean, you know, Storm is good. Storm is a great keyword, and he's gonna get lethal with it. Forte, Dragoon Scyther. Poor Kionys goes for it and falls short. Oh no.
Yeah, you see Kionys with the Clappa there. Well, I can't say that I really disagree with the Aegis, to be completely honest. He's like, you know what, I want to win this game, and he just decides to slam it as soon as he can. He's probably just thinking,
playing to win instead of playing not to lose, right? So
yeah.
I agree with you. I think that was a good play. I don't know. Maybe going for like the Tin Soldier, snipe one of them, attack with the cudgel on one of them, and then hit the other one, and go face for one. You know.
4 play points left after that.
Yeah, 4 play points left.
Still just Angel of the Word.
Even Tribunal one of them, right? Go face with cudgel even. You know, you don't die to exactly Forte, Dragoon Scyther. Oh well, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, hindsight, we have perfect information, so of course we knew the perfect play, right? But
right.
Poor Kionys.
So, yeah. Tough situation. He did his best to play to his outs and just ended up taking it anyway. I guess, like, even with the solid defense he had of double Cleric Lancer, that's one of those things to watch for when you're playing against Dragon, is just, they have 3 Dragoon Scythers. They don't really care about how big your boards get.
Exactly. Mofu, talk to me about Pure-Hearted Singer. What do you think of Pure-Hearted Singer?
Well, I think we actually talked about this card before, even like when the expansion had just come out. I at first actually didn't believe in it, because I thought that for a follower to really get it in Shadowverse, with how fast this game can be, it had to have really, really good stats. But just the quality of a neutral card like this, pretty fast too, just being a 3-cost card, just gives you that +1 in card advantage. I think just seeing it, I've seen it like in so many decks so far. It's just proven itself really as really effective.
Yeah, it's insane. You know, I was harping on it. I was like, I love this card. It's one of my favorite cards now. I love it so much. Just 3 play point, 1/2 draw 2. Sounds good. Love it.
Yeah. Something I noticed about it is like it's not leaving for a while for the future of Shadowverse really. It's Starforged Legends. It's gonna be around for like the next year, and that actually makes me really happy because it, as a neutral card that's kind of agnostic in how it works, it's just a fanfare and last words. It means like everyone kind of gets this access to being able to cycle through their decks. It supports so many different things.
Very, very neat. Has neutral synergy on all that stuff. Interesting attack with the Snow White though. That was. Is he gonna attack it again? No, Angel the Word. Okay, player like yeah. Never mind. I didn't see it hiding over there.
Right, just playing for the board on that one. Or not willing to throw away that Blackened Scripture against Shadow.
Right, Banish is a very powerful mechanic against both Ayala and the entirety faction of Shadow. So.
Anyway, manages to cash in that extra card here. I'm thinking that in a matchup like this, that Aegis doesn't really cause as much of a threat to mid Shadow, just because against mid Shadow, what you really, really want to do is not just win in the war of who gets to put a threat down, but you have to kind of keep Shadow's board clear for the entirety of the game, because they just go completely out of hand.
Right. Thane into anything really into Aegir, but Thane himself also as well. Ceres as well. An incredible play for 4 play points. Talk to me about that card, Mofu. What do you? I mean, obviously, you think Ceres is good. Do you think it's good in this matchup? Like, he can't even kill it right now. So,
like in this specific matchup, it's very interesting because Haven usually doesn't rely too much on needing followers. It's not like I played a Ceres and I cleared your board. It's like Haven's like the one class that's like, yeah, it's okay, whatever. A lot of other classes like Blood, for example, just gets absolutely blasted by that. But in this situation, he's pretty comfortable. Just plays a Cleric Lancer. He's like, all right, you got me.
All right. I guess neither of us can attack each other. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It does present a very interesting situation. He's got 3 of them in hand as well. He could just keep playing them every turn. If you keep playing them every turn, eventually you're going to heal 6 every turn, and your opponent has to start killing them, right? But, you know, Themis can take care of all 3 at once, so.
Yeah. There's a time where I started referring to this card as the Sybil of... Ooh. Oh, never mind. I started referring to it as like the Sybil of Shadow because of just how well it dealt with aggro. I thought for a second that he was going to go in with that Belinus and try to get the hit on the Cleric Lancer and snipe the 2-1, but going to save his Evo point. It's smart, I like it.
I like that play as well. He's got the Cudgel on the Kionys side, though. It's not good at all for Marmon. All of his stuff's going to get banished this game. That's not fun, right?
Not for a class like this. Absolutely not.
Double Bone Chimera banished. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up this morning still role-playing as a skeleton.
Yeah. Skeleton plan, yeah. You know what it's like to play skeletons? Yeah, totally.
So this hurts. I take this as like personal offense. If this hits the Bone Chimera, I'm like,
oh my gosh.
And it did. Wow.
Of course, it's not random. Of course it hit the Bone Chimera. Come on.
No, I'm like, that's offensive to me that he decided to choose it on the Bone Chimera, not something else.
Oh, yeah, okay,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely best play. Just accepts that Belinus has 2 good targets there.
Belinus has great targets there. Even hits the best one. The ward was the best one, I think, honestly.
My role-playing aside, it was absolutely correct to banish that Bone Chimera for the explicit purpose that getting the 2 skeletons out there would have been like Belinus going off twice. 2 really clean trades.
Really clean trades. Notice Ceres coming down the second evolve. Obviously, Ceres, you know, still getting that value.
You think he holds the zombie party here, or wants it next turn? Because he's got a Thane in hand. He's in a pretty good spot.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to, if you get rid of both your 7 play point plays, you kind of have to wonder that you draw something else. I guess you could do it. Yeah, I actually like passing. I like having the flexibility, you know? Very bad draw for Kionys. Gets a Snow White. Not quite useful this late in the game. Tribunal can easily take care of the series, though, so...
I think what we're noticing here is that, like, Mid Shadow is a list that can perfectly, happily just kind of sit and play the long game. because with like, I guess I didn't really mention this about Ceres before, rather than how she deals with aggro, but she gives Shadow this way to just kind of last. Outside of like Kawi, they didn't really have a method of healing before, and she just applies it in chips. But now it's like hitting turn 7 is really when Shadow gets aggressive. But even now, he can't really push hard enough, I think, to force Kionys into like committing anything too much.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting play. Also, the previous turn, Snow White's actually going to be able to trade with a zombie here.
This song's for you.
Not before Pure-Hearted Singer though. Even a cudgel drawn. Ooh, oh gosh.
It's a pretty solid cudgel. It is his last presently active access to banish, so there's a lot of cards you could probably be watching for, such as Thane and the like, if you want to save it.
All right. Crystals of snow, shimmer.
You do also clear the board completely for Igtors though, so I think it's probably the correct play. You're at full life, but can he just save you from an Igtor board, right? I don't know. The tough choice.
It can be kind of complicated. So he's got 6 shadows. You got 2 zombies, and there's no way for them to die. So it's not like Igtor's gonna summon some more zombie boys. I'd say it's a pretty tough decision. I think he can live through it. Just as it comes down to how afraid he is.
If you banish one of them, they don't go to 8 shadows. So Igtor doesn't trigger actually. So.
Like his thinking pose, I do that a lot myself.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
He's got that anime look, the shine in his glasses.
He just needs to push them up and they glint. All according to K-Cock.
Like, you can see the shine of his monitor. He'd totally do that if you push them up.
They would, yeah.
Going for it.
Does he evolve though? He does. Okay, all right. I like it. Honestly, I like it. You play really safe this way, so.
I think ultimately the line of thought here might just sound something like, I don't really want to, or if I self-insert as Kionys here, I don't really want my opponent to just have that damage from Igtor. Then I have to deal with the 5/6. So figures, you just can use it now, force Marmot to use his Evo reactively, and then just slam Heavenly Aegis next turn if he slows down for it.
And realistically, even if Igtor, or this even comes down, you've got Themis to fall back on. You can wipe all of these off the board, so it's not even that big of a deal, honestly.
It's a pretty good cash-in on that Themis too, because like the Pure-Hearted Singer doesn't really have any particularly great trades it can go for. It can work with the Red Hot Boots, but even that is just clearing a single token.
It does let the board get flipped around though. Thane's gonna come down, but Thane is not nearly as threatening as these 4 2/2s are. So I don't know. Maybe you do Aegis. Maybe. I don't know. Do you respect Igtor here, Mofu? Do you?
Like, remember last game when he was in a situation where he was under threat and he went for Aegis? I was about to say, I'd like to see him do it again because that's, that shows so much dominance, but I think he's actually learning from it. He's like, I'm not going to risk anything. I'm going to wait for it to be safe. Well, Igtor wasn't lethal there.
Oh gosh, that top deck. Oh my god. It was only 18 damage. It's 4 times 4 plus 2. Yeah, it was only 18 damage.
Right. Looks like Kionys just doesn't want to play around the only 18 damage there. He's like, oh, man.
Doesn't want to get a 2 life in one combo, I guess.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he doesn't have the answers for this Thane. This Thane is insanely good.
He can kick it in the face and then scripture it, but that is resources right there.
Okay, so he snipes 1 here. All right.
Okay. I see 2 lines of play. He could either decide now to just throw the Aegis at any point, and any one of these turns he could just decide he's impatient and just really want to go for that, get it down. But at the same time, if he wants to go for like a Red Hot Boot scripture, deny the White King, he still has enough left over and just enough board space to put down March Hare's Tea Time.
Aegis.
There it is. Probably figuring at this point.
This is gonna be, oh gosh.
Yeah, we're looking at a lot of damage here. Thankfully, one of the whites was knocked out from this board by the tribunal, so the zombies aren't all going to, like, the rush zombies would effectively had Storm if they're all like trading into that with the 2 whites on them.
Right.
Well, I guess it wouldn't have
that would have been really, really bad. He can do a lot still though. Oh gosh, no Igtor. Okay, we're gonna set up with Prince Cat. I like it a lot actually. There's not really a way for an Aegis to kill you in 1 hit. It can't happen. So
Probably a pretty good call here, knowing Kionys' list does not play Taurus. A lot of decks that play Ether actually do, but nope, not this time. So, goes for a board that this Aegis is never realistically going to have the time to deal with. One shot at a time, it just says, I got it before you got it. I got Ether.
Not to mention, even another Themis top deck doesn't even do anything, because now, you know, there are 3 zombies on the board. Well, I guess you get Themis and then, not zombies, but skeletons. I guess you get Themis and then kill one of the skeletons as well.
That is possible. Ooh,
Star Torrent's also really great here. I also just realized that. You can Themis into Star Torrent, and that's fine.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that. I like.
And that's actually the 2 cards that needed to happen. Oh my gosh, that's his 3rd Themis, I think, right? Isn't it?
I'd have to think about it, but I know it's definitely not the first one.
I'm 90% sure it's 3rd in the top 20 cards. Oh my gosh, what a swing play, Marmont. He's got the fear in his eye. He's got a white though. We know it's gonna get banished. Oh god.
Yeah. I think that's the combo for getting rid of big things at Haven now. I think like aside from Tribunal and really just Tribunal is all I can think of really effective single target removal. Back in the day they were really weak to anything that just could stay over 3 defense. But now they got that like boot to the head and scripture out of the room.
Oh man, I feel bad for Marmot. He had such a good board, and then the 2 exact cards needed to answer the board happened. I swear that's a 3rd Themis. It's at least the 2nd for sure, but I think it's the 3rd.
Yeah, and Themis on the wayside, just like the Star Torrent, just perfectly getting rid of whatever board setup he had. I think if anything, that's a really good testament to Star Torrent as a card. I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but there it is.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's literally just Angelic Barrage that doesn't hit face, so.
Sometimes, yeah.
That's why people don't believe in it, Mofu.
I think, like, yeah, that's really it, is like everyone remembers contextually Angelic Barrage not really being effective against anything. In hindsight,
now Red Hunt's to black it on the ward into Aegis on face. Oh my gosh, Mofu. Marmont can't catch any luck this game.
1-2 combo into the 8.
That's okay though. Still got 1 game from both players. It's not over yet.
1-1 now. In hindsight, if he had evolved the White King preemptively to dodge that brutal 1-2 from the boot scripture, I think that actually left Kionys having to trade, but I don't know if it would have made a big difference. Or, yeah.
I think he Demon Eatered his board away, so he didn't have the damage on the board to Eater with, so yeah.
Probably would have ended about the same. And not like he could have known to actually pre-Evo to get around it. I just like thinking about it sometimes.
Right. Blood versus Shadow. Whew. This is Mofu, do you play either of these factions? I don't think you do you?
Well, I'm now like the chief representative of Shadow role-playing, so basically my new name.
How would you role-play against a Blood player?
I wouldn't. I was actually like praying not to go against one. But I think that this is pretty tough sometimes for Shadow. I have like it's one of those matchups where it's like I don't think like a mid Shadow list like this can very easily or without jumping a lot of hoops can get the damage to push like Control Blood all the way down. But at the same time, I've seen it happen a few times enough that I feel like it's not like appropriate to completely count them out.
Got Spawn. I don't know. Do you know if he has the one of Azazel?
I don't think so.
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, come on. You gotta have the one of Azazel.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He only plays 1 Spawn too.
Yeah, that was interesting. Still, this hand though. Kionys has all 3 evolves, so he's going 2nd. So if he's able to Belphegor into Righteous Devil, Belphegor into Diabolic Drain Righteous Devil is disgusting.
And Righteous Devil actually it's so interesting that you mentioned like plays like that, because that's what I previously remember as like the face of Bane and healing. And the ability to put into a deck both the like Righteous Devil on a turn like that and also Scarlet Sabre now existing is like, I think Control Blood's like main shtick now is just having this insane access to Bane, really.
Right, Bane is just, it's all over the place in the faction. Mostly Scarlet Sabre is kind of just like the best option for it, realistically. I mean, I honestly see some of them not even running. I like Righteous Devil is an insanely powerful card if you're able to evolve it while you're in Vengeance, obviously. The 4/7 stat line, very hard to get rid of, and has Bane, obviously. But I see a lot of people not running this card, so.
I think like some of the reasoning is that people feel that the card can be a little bit underwhelming after you've used all your evolution points, but at the same time, like this is Control Blood. What do you need to evolve? I don't think it in any recent lists, and not in Kionys's either, really has anything that it needs to use an evolve on. Nothing like Cudgel, like in Haven's comparison.
Marmot choosing to pop his Lurching Corpse instead of his Belinus there actually might be a bit. It might come back to bite him a little bit. That Lurching Corpse could have gotten rid of Belphegors, could have got rid of Righteous Devils. This might be.
Now that you mention it, I do find that a little bit strange. It's like, so keeping together the Belinus on board really just gives him like two things an advantage over the Lurching Corpse. It can trade, and it has a slightly higher stat line if he's trying to play super aggressively here. But the Lurching Corpse is an answer to like every other thing that Control Blood really starts to
everything. And the thing about super aggression is Kionys is comfortable enough to do 5 damage to himself. Like, he knows that he's not in any grave danger, right? So.
Right. Ugh, it's looking rough because, as you said, safe drop to 10 defense left, and next turn just has that open option of Diabolic Drain plus Righteous Devil.
Going for a Soul Squasher instead of a Series. Probably going to Bone Chimera also. And just go face for 1. And this is where we're going to feel it. We're going to see it. Righteous Devil, Diabolic Drain. Oh, gosh.
And that sweet spot, the 4 defense on the Skull Beast, right in that Diabolic Drain range. It's like Kionys just completely shrugs this off, and Marmot is like more or less out of steam, I think.
He does still have the Series, gets the order right here, even though it didn't matter this time because he took an extra 3, but... Hopefully he doesn't attack first here.
That'd be really interesting if he held it. I feel like this is just the perfect situation. Oh, he holds it.
He holds it and doesn't even kill the 4 health follower even. Wow.
I saw him wipe his nose. I can't tell if
I
that
think he noticed it.
is...
Yeah, he noticed it, yeah. Kionys, unfortunately, is going to leave that Skull Beast alive. He's shaking his head. He knows he did that wrong.
That's right, and it's pretty unfortunate. I mean, he has a second way around this, right? Okay, he's really visibly showing this disappointment with himself, but like it's not really that bad, right? He has a Diabolic Drain and Saburo next turn.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, you are playing Control Blood. You do have options to things. You know, this is gonna get Bane's down. You still only take 4 here, and you heal for 4, so it's it's kind of okay.
Yeah, not that bad. Slice that out. Super the 2/2, leave only a single 1/1 body left on Marmot's board, heal back up to 11.
At least on this swing back, he actually can't miss this because Sabor can't heal him over Vengeance, so. Goes for the drain first anyway. Okay, I like it.
I was about to say it would crack me up if you played the Sabor first this time. Not that it would matter, but it's like, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I want to cash that drain in now. I'm going to make sure this goes off.
Right, so not going to evolve on that one. No reason to. Just add damage to Marmot's board. Alright, I think we're still in a similar situation to what I was talking about earlier. It's like, yeah, Kionys did kind of miss a Diabolic Drain on turn 4 there, but does it? He's still got the healing. He's still got what he needs, I think.
Well, I mean, realistically, this is where Control Blood wants to be, right? Like, Control Blood, all they got to do this turn is play Emeralda, pop that Series, go face, hit the 2/2 with something. You know, something's going on. Never mind, we can heal also. That's also true. Wow. Hungering Horde coming down on skeletons, though. I'm going to full clear. Kionys going for a full respect play for Yggdra here.
Right. Especially if he evolves here. I mean, not like he's gonna lose the Super in the trade here. Gosh, this does put Marmot in such a tough position. He's got a Yggdra, he's got a trade, and then what's left? How do you win after that?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, Kionys is a 12, and how does Kionys kill that? He can't. Oh, Emeralda, right? I just said that last turn. I'm a heckin' dummy. Oh my gosh.
Well,
That Skull Beast could have had Rush, Marmot. It could have
I
had
think
Rush.
he wanted
A
to keep it
useless
safe,
amount
out
of
of danger.
Rush. Well, actually, not even useless. He could have kept the 2/2 on the board instead of that.
That is actually very true. But this is kind of cuter, right? Like, the Skull Beast is like a little dog, if you really think about it.
Yeah, it's like
I looked at the
Eater's
art
pet,
of all
yeah.
the skeletons very closely, and I didn't even really notice until now. It's just a dog. Like,
Yeah. Well, it's a dog with horns. I don't know what kind of dog has horns, but
they probably exist. But as you pointed out, Emeralda makes very light of that threat. I'd say Kionys can really take his time with this. He's got a lot of threats, but
The top
Thane,
deck, though.
it is another threat.
that's a great threat. The second best threat in your deck. Honestly, the best threat in your deck, really. You've got no board. That's
Mhm.
that's a lot of pressure, insane out of nowhere.
It's like actually the best card he could have drawn, you're right.
Mask is pretty good. Mask can probably keep Kionys alive for one more turn so he can Bahamut.
Right. Now, I remember this was being like discussed heavily yesterday. What's your opinion on, do you think white is a skeleton? I don't mean to differ here, but I remember people telling me that I was cheating because I had whites in the skeleton deck.
I think that Thane is such a good card that, yes, he's an honorary skeleton.
For you.
Mm-hmm. It was the whites because it's like the debatable amount of flesh on him. But my insecurity about that aside, I think like in a situation like this, as I've been saying, Marmo doesn't really have that many possible good draws aside from Thane's. Really fortunate that he got one here, but the whites existing puts Kionys into Vengeance for any synergy he pleases.
That is true. He did have Blood Moon anyway, though, so. Lurching Corpse, not quite the best top deck.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of awkward to go face now with that mask on the board. Really weird.
Right. It doesn't really get him too far, but at the same time, with the pretty like short and unimpressive amount of burst that Shadow usually has, it's a class that usually relies on things like Ictor on a full board to actually get that damage in. It's like, how do you really deal with this mask? So he goes face here.
Very interesting. Okay, kind of hoping Kionys has no healing options, I feel like. The Temptress Vampire is perfect this turn. Just nom the Thane here.
Right. Honestly, I think this is the pace that I usually kind of notice this matchup swinging towards. It's like Mid Shadow is a deck that just doesn't give up. It's like there are a lot of draws between Ictor and Thane that just like present so much value at once that it can stand up for a long time against a control deck without really letting the control deck just take over. But I only really see Marmot's situation just getting worse and worse here.
Oh yeah, definitely. His situation realistically has been getting worse and worse as this has been going on. Really, like.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even though he does keep getting great top decks, this is just gonna be, you can just Bahamut this board. The Bane is on the board. You know Marmot's options. You can just Bahamut them away. So.
Mm-hmm. And I guess like post Bahamut, that's really it for Marmot because there's nothing really in Shadow that just single-handedly deals with it. But gonna spare on that one. Gonna Revelation instead. Take it slow.
Interesting. You know, why not? Why not take it slow, right? Just play the spawn
is-
next turn.
Yeah, this is the comfy control blood sort of way of approaching this.
This is
Well,
the
that said-
ooh, doesn't even bother playing the Belinus. Okay.
Right. I imagine he holds the Belinus because he like really wants to get like a Demon Eater into some more threats, but I don't know. It's a resolved spawn.
That is a resolved
Like a-
spawn. There's no Bahamuts in this deck. There's Soul Conversion. Got that.
That would have been a really tough draw otherwise. So hopefully Belinus just notices that 6/7 there, pings it. Good cards.
Got an Eater.
but-
This head can't be taken.
It's not quite amazing. I mean, realistically, that Eater could have given Rush almost to Lurching Corpse. I don't want to take that much damage, though.
Right. So I think like throughout the course of this game, we've more or less just kind of seen Bestmarmotte draw all of his like power spikes of his 7-cost cards. We've seen 2 Ictors and a Thane. He could draw another Thane here. It's not like, well, wait, Kionys isn't Vengeance, but I think that's still not quite enough damage.
No,
With-
it's not. He has at most one-off lethal with Temptress Vampire.
Right. But still, Emeralda, Edictor.
Emerald does
Thorough.
pop that for free though, so that's pretty good. So
Yeah. I'd say what we're seeing is just this eventual, sort of an inevitable result of just completely running out of resources against Control Blood. Even Shadow, in its immense ability to grind out really any matchup, is just kind of on the back foot the entire game, and we just kind of see Control Blood very comfortably, just sort of comfortably and calmly, patiently.
yeah, it does what it does. You know, Control Blood just kind of like once you get to like 7, 8, 9 play points, Control Blood just kind of like really gets that chokehold on you. Like, you're not playing any more cards. You can play cards. Who cares? I'm gonna kill them all anyway, right? So.
Right. But something I noticed about Kionys' list is like it takes a while to finish it up, just because he's run it and he's built it in such a way where he doesn't really want to go for a super strong win condition. Just kind of takes his time, mounts his single spawn. But anyway, let's see what the Dusk has to say about that one.